Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks for your time. Much to his credit, Tucker Carlson, every Wednesday evening throughout the month of March, is doing a segment which addresses the declining status of males in the United States. Male behavior is becoming demonized, and men, quite frankly, are becoming sidelined and feminized, and it's a problem. And very few people are talking about it, so my hat goes off to Mr. Carlson. I thought I'd weigh in on this particular situation and give you the naturopathic perspective on what's happening, specifically as it relates to dramatically decreasing levels of testosterone in men over the last 30 years. The information that I'm going to give you is, I think it's going to create a certain amount of cognitive dissonance in your brain, or hopefully expand your brains. So put something heavy on the top of your head, because I'm about to make it explode. If this tank represents your body's nutritional needs, in order for your body to be optimally healthy from the cradle to the grave, it needs to be topped off every day with 90 essential nutrients, 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids. Now, for something to be considered an essential nutrient, a substance to be considered an essential nutrient, it's something that the body needs to function optimally, but the body can't make it. Essential nutrients have to be imported on a regular basis into the body because the body needs them, but the body cannot make them. And this is a problem, because modern agricultural farming methods have, over the last century, dramatically decreased the amount of essential nutrients which are in our food. And this is a big problem. It's unrecognized. Nobody talks about it because conventional medical doctors, right, have no training, no experience, no respect, and quite frankly, very little appreciation for medical nutrition. That's the domain of the naturopathic doctor, which is why I'm doing this webinar. This reported in Scientific American. It was a study that was done in 2004 at the University of Texas in Austin. They looked at data from 1950 and 1999, and they compared 43 different vegetables and fruits. And their findings were that there were reliable declines in the amount of protein, calcium, phosphorus, iron, vitamin B2, and vitamin C over the last half century. And you know, this research does not stand alone. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the Center for Disease Control, and others, from 1900 to the year 2000, there have been dramatic decreases in phosphorus, selenium, copper, magnesium, cobalt, calcium, zinc, and iron in the food. Now, from my position as a licensed naturopathic doctor with 29 years of clinical experience, I'm here to tell you that there is a direct relationship between nutrient deficiencies and most, if not all, chronic illnesses, including low testosterone. Because remember, the body has wisdom, right? The body is inhabited by a spiritual presence which is driving the engine of the body. There are millions of biochemical processes happening inside of your body right now which are all outside of your conscious control. Your body is taking care of business, but remember, it needs raw materials to do that. The body can't make calcium, can't make the essential nutrients. They need to go in, and if they're not in the body, things are going to start to break down. As it relates to the production of testosterone, in order for your body to be able to make testosterone, which it wants to do, it knows how to do, it knows what levels it needs, it has wisdom, you need zinc. You need zinc. If you don't have zinc, your body can't make enough testosterone. You also need vitamin D. You need vitamin D. Now, the body can make vitamin D, but it has to be exposed to sunlight in order to do that. And interestingly enough, did you know that vitamin D is made from cholesterol? Did you know that? Also, did you know that testosterone and every sex hormone in your body is made from cholesterol? All sex hormones in your body are made from cholesterol. That's where they come from. So, if you have deficiencies in cholesterol in your body, Do you think you're going to have normal levels of sex hormones or decreased levels of sex hormones? You're going to have decreased levels of sex hormones. What's one thing that lowers cholesterol in your body? Let me think. Statin drugs. Statin drugs are prescribed to lower cholesterol levels. That's what they do. Now, we could have an argument as to whether that's good or bad. There's a lot of research on either side of that fence. I'm here to tell you that low cholesterol is not a good idea, but that's not the intention of this tutorial. The simple fact of the matter is that since they were marketed 2 decades ago, they have sold, are you sitting down? $250 billion. $250 billion. $250 billion plus in statin drug sales. Not just in the U.S., but worldwide. It's a big deal. And statin drugs create inflammation in the liver, the intention of which is to decrease the body's production of cholesterol. Your body makes cholesterol. Cholesterol is so important to your human body that your liver makes it. Now, if you drive cholesterol levels into the ditch with statin drugs and fat-free diets, which everybody has been doing here in the United States, well, for the last, 30 years, more or less, you're going to drive cholesterol levels down. And when you drive cholesterol levels down, you must see a concomitant reduction in the amount of testosterone that the human body is able to make. Period. And that's what's happening. Fat-free diets and statin drugs, nutrient deficiencies are driving cholesterol levels into the ditch, and testosterone levels come along for the ride. Now, just when you thought it was safe to go out and play in nature, well, not so much. There are a whole family of environmental toxins which are present everywhere all the time now, called endocrine disruptors. And when these man-made chemicals find entry into the human body, they have many different reactions inside of the body. Endocrine disruptor toxins, which find their way into the body, impede and change the way that the body manufactures its hormones. They're called gender bender chemicals. Believe it or not, here's the short list. Bisphenol A is found in plastic water bottles, right? It's an endocrine disruptor. It changes the way that the body makes hormones. Methoxychlor is an insecticide. It induces changes in male mice. Induces changes in male mice, which will persist for 4 generations after the initial exposure. Bovine growth hormone is estrogen mimicking. So when you consume a dairy product which has bovine growth hormone added to it, it tricks your body into having elevated, well, it actually doesn't trick your body, but you have elevated levels of estrogen in your body. And when it comes to hormones, it's all about the balance. So when you eat food which increases the levels of estrogen in your body, guess what's going to happen if you're a man? Unfermented soy does the same thing. Fluoride, which is abundant in public water supplies all across this country, has been proven to decrease fertility and to lower sperm counts. And there's a crazy little chemical called a nonylphenol ethoxylate. Say that 10 times fast. It's, again, estrogen mimicking. And interestingly enough, in the European Union, they have found changes in male fish, that male fish are now starting to generate eggs in their bodies instead of sperm because of exposure to estrogen mimicking chemicals in the water. So, exposure to gender bender toxic chemicals in the environment decrease your levels of testosterone. Attention deficit disorder with hyperactivity is also on the rise. Interestingly enough, males are 3 times at risk for being diagnosed with ADD or ADHD. Now, there's a conversation that's happening now in the scientific community that males diagnosed with attention deficit disorder don't really have attention deficit disorder. They're misdiagnosed and not being able to focus the same way that girls can focus in a male is just normal. Because males are they're hunters. And, if you're hunting animals in the wild, then a kind of a short attention span will benefit you. And if you look at the incidence of attention deficit diagnoses over the last decade, the increase is dramatic. There's been a 42% increase in the diagnosis of ADHD over the past 8 years, and this begs the question, well, perhaps we're jumping to conclusions too quickly and diagnosing kids with something that they don't have. Nonetheless, millions of children and adolescents and now adults regularly take prescription medications for attention deficit disorder and attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Adderall sales in the U.S. in 2013, just in the U.S., this is just one ADHD drug, $727,892,000 in 2013. Adderall is everywhere all of the time now, and this would not be a problem, except, according to the British Journal of Pharmacology, Adderall decreases testosterone levels. So now we have all of these kids, perhaps incorrectly, being diagnosed with ADHD. But even if they're correctly diagnosed with this condition, they're given Adderall. And what does Adderall do? Decreases levels of testosterone. This is a big bad voodoo daddy, ladies and gentlemen. When you put all these things together, it really is easy to understand. As time has gone by here, there has been a dramatic decrease in testosterone precursors in the human body. Not enough cholesterol because of statin drugs and fat-free diets, not enough zinc, not enough vitamin D. It's a problem. And at the same time, testosterone inhibitors have increased. Gender bender environmental toxins, dramatic increase in ADD and ADHD diagnosis and ADD and ADHD drugs, and the use of glyphosate. Also, I didn't mention this before, glyphosate is an herbicide. It's used everywhere all the time now. Glyphosate also has been shown to decrease testosterone levels. So what are you going to do? If I'll tell you what's going to happen. If you are a little boy growing up in the last, let's say, 20 years, the chances are that because of all of these factors, your testosterone levels are going to be dramatically lower than they should be, and dramatically lower than those of your parents or grandparents generations before you, and this is going to lead to the demasculinization of the male. Now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this, but I just need to bring you up to speed here, right? So I'm a naturopathic doctor. The initials after my name are ND. There's a lot of confusion as to what naturopathic medicine is here. These are the states that naturopathic medicine is licensed in currently. The states in green, the states in red and orange have pending legislation. In order to become a naturopathic doctor, you have to do 4 years pre-med, 4 years naturopathic medical school, 1,000 hours of clinical supervision, pass national boards, pass state boards, get a license to practice naturopathic medicine, and secure at least 20 hours of continuing education credit every year. The profession currently is licensed in only 20 states in the United States. Does that mean that the laws of science change when you cross a state line? No. It's a turf war. It's a political conversation. And because most people in this country do not have access to licensed and regulated naturopathic treatments or naturopathic doctors, all that you have access to all of the time is pharmaceuticals and surgery and pharmaceuticals and surgery. And thank God for Novocaine. Thank God for the emergency room. Thank God for the sterile technique. But as you perhaps, hopefully have seen by this small little informational video that I've put together, There is a gigantic relationship between nutrient deficiencies, the food that we eat, the stuff that we're exposed to, and the demasculinization of the male race. And nobody is talking about this except the naturopathic doctors, because this is our wheelhouse. This is what we do. This is what we excel at, but you don't have access to naturopathic medicine. Benjamin Rush was correct. Dr. Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, who put his life, his liberty, and his family fortune on the line to birth the United States of America, would be spinning in his grave right now. Because this is what he said over 200 years ago. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize itself into a dictatorship. To restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic, and that is exactly what's happened. We haven't had a free medical market here since 1912 in the United States, and your children, quite frankly, and you, are suffering because of it. We need a free medical market. We need equal access to all types of medicine. Your insurance needs to pay for naturopathic medicine, chiropractic medicine, homeopathic medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, the same way that it does for conventional MD-directed allopathic medicine. Research institutions around the country need to be encouraged to research holistic medical therapeutics the same way that they research reductionistic allopathic therapeutics. This is only going to happen inside of a free medical market. And if anybody could get that done, it's President Trump. So, spread this message if you found it worthwhile. And if you didn't find it worthwhile, I really don't know what's wrong with you, quite frankly. Here's my social media stuff. You can follow me. This is, again, the tip of the iceberg for the information that you need to know in order to get your body into the game of healing. Again, thanks for your time. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. God willing and the creek don't rise, I'll see you around campus.